What is up, y'all? This is the Three Stooges Podcast, Episode 2. I'm Traven.
I'm Henry.
I'm Christian. What's up?
And today we finally have a sponsor called Traven's Third Wheeling Service. And the code, we have a code. If you go on the Instagram right now and type in the code MBN, you can get 20% off discount for any of us, because we are all part of this. Alright, so what do you want to talk about first? The best and worst memories in high school?
Yes.
You want to start? One of y'all want to start?
Like, what do you mean, like, in high school or just
In
like,
high school,
like,
Chris.
actually in the school or just like while we're
Just
still in
during like a high school
During
experience.
our high school experience.
Something that has to do with high school.
Yeah.
Let's start out with all the worst. Like, how we all say the worst.
All right.
Alright,
I'm gonna go first.
you gonna go first?
The worst thing that happened to me in high school, I was in my study hall.
Mhm.
They wouldn't let me walk around, obviously. So I'm trying to watch YouTube on my VPN, and the administrator like walks in, and she was like, "What are you doing on your phone?" And I was like, "Just watching a video." She's like, "Is that on YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh," and then she like grabbed my phone out of my hand, so I didn't get a chance to lie about like using the VPN. I was like, "It's downloaded on my phone," and she was like, "Well, I can see that you're using a VPN," and I was like, "Yeah, I am." So she took my phone to the office. It's the first time I ever like got in trouble at school.
Mhm.
She took my phone to the office, and they said I can't use my phone on the Wi-Fi for the rest of the year. So for my whole senior year, I had no Wi-Fi. It was like the
But couldn't
second
you-
week of school.
But couldn't you still
That
use it
sucks.
though? Like they weren't like.
No, I wasn't allowed to use my phone in class for like 2 months. They told my teachers to take it if they saw me with it.
So what if it was an emergency?
That's
I mean, I'm sure my teachers wouldn't even told on me, but so
That's true.
surely more.
shit. Mine's definitely gonna be the time when I got caught for being high off an edible.
Oh yeah. I remember
At
that.
like the end of junior year, for some reason, my dumb ass decided to freaking make a marijuana edible, and I was good until freaking second class, and somebody was just like joking like, "Oh yo, that kid is real high," or like he's like high AF, and the teacher like pulled me out and just asked me what's going on. I was just like, "Nah, I got allergies or something."
Which teacher was it?
Miss, oh shit, she helped out Miss Williams for English. Miss Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah, it was Miss Martin. Shout out to Miss Martin because she didn't like.
Yeah, she ain't
She didn't
snitching
tell
nothing.
she didn't tell the principal, but she directly called my dad. I didn't know about it. And I didn't know about it. I thought I was good until at lunch the
Mhm.
principal was like looking for me, and like the seniors like point at me, and she comes.
Dang.
Yeah, Miss Bibb comes over to me and says my dad's here to pick you up.
Oh dang.
And I walk out, and he's like there in the lobby, and he took me to like my mom's house. Like, yeah, that shit sucked, and then I got like grounded for a while after that shit. That was
Damn.
definitely the worst. Freaking.
My worst is when like the thing like ninth grade. No. 10th grade. That's when I started culinary over at the
I
trade
remember
school, and that Andrew Stevenson was in my class, and you remember? And now I think that was the time like that time period was when like everybody was like acting like they were dunking on people and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like that one time he dunked on me, and then like near the end of the class, it was like I had some Skittles in my hand and they were open, and so he was walking in front of me, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get him back. So then like I ran up and jumped, but he looked behind me and then ducked, and I flew in the air.
Oh my god.
And Skittles just flew all over the place, and I did a legit flip,
Oh my god.
and I landed on my back
Yeah, where was this at?
at the trade school.
Oh, at trade school?
Yeah.
In culinary?
Mhm.
It's like, was it like in the kitchen?
No, it wasn't in the kitchen. It was like in that little cafeteria
Oh,
part.
damn.
But that was the worst.
That's funny.
Yeah. What was your best?
Shit.
My best was like most of it.
Most of it.
Yeah, I didn't have very many bad experiences during it.
Yeah, my best was definitely towards like junior year and senior year,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
definitely.
overall, like it was all a good experience. I like it all.
Yeah, I prefer high school over college.
I would have to say just getting through high school. to be honest.
So all of it was the best.
No, I'm not the best. Just the
What, like
best.
graduating?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
like
just
the
getting.
fact that you
Yeah.
graduated. Oh yeah, like the graduating part, like walking on that shit. Was
Yeah.
Graduation was
cool.
sweet.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I had my Game Boy. I was playing it while what's the name
bro,
was talking.
Jerry Pruitt was with me,
Mhm.
like sitting next to me,
Mhm.
and we were just telling jokes to each other the whole time, and we were like crying, laughing.
No,
My mom was like pissed off that I was like talking the whole time.
I had my Game Boy and I had it in my pocket and I just pulled it out and just was playing it while she was
I
talking.
remember- Yeah, you
Yo, I
sent me a
should-
picture of that or something.
Yeah, I sent this on my Instagram, I think.
Yo, I'm not even lying. Like like the practice
Mhm.
thing. Like I had my headphones in and I was listening to X as I was like trying to walk, but Miss Martin told me to take them out.
That sucks.
It was like a dope X song. I was listening to it. And she told me to take it out.
I'm pretty sure they're still gonna drop his album
Probably.
in October.
Oh yeah, isn't that like the next thing on the list is music or something?
Yeah, music suggestion of the week.
You go first, or
Me?
yeah.
All right, so I just I've been listening to a lot of stuff, but I would have to suggest to y'all or anybody that's listening is either Mac Miller's stuff, that his recent stuff, or the internet. Their album came out yesterday. No, Friday.
The
Hive Mind.
internet.
Hive Mind,
The band.
the band, the internet.
I don't know about that.
You know Sid from Odd Future, like the girl with the shit head.
Big girl.
Yeah, she like produces.
Hmm.
She's like, you know the Tyler songs, like old Tyler songs, how there's like a girl voice singing in the background.
Yeah, that's it.
But she has like a band now.
Henry.
Whoa. I was gonna say Mac Miller, but also Frank Ocean don't drop that much music.
We put some out.
No. Frank Ocean doesn't drop that much music, but I found out that he had like 80 songs on a different name before he started using Frank Ocean. So I've been listening to those, and they're really good. So the name is Lonnie Brew, if you want to look that up.
Lonnie Brew.
Spelled with an X. I don't know how to spell it. BREAUX.
AUX. Oh, okay.
So there's like 80 Frank Ocean songs that you probably haven't heard.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Christian.
My favorites always, Lil Peep with the Crybaby mixtape, Hellboy mixtape. Those are definitely some of my favorites that I listen to mostly.
Anything recent?
Recent and this Lil Peep, but old classic for me is Lil Yachty, Lil Boat, the first mixtape. That shit hard.
Yeah. The boat too sucked.
The boat.
It did suck, but it wasn't as good.
The boat.
I haven't heard it honestly yet, but the Doo-Wop Kane Underdog album, I think it might be an album.
Doo-Wop Kane.
Yeah, he just put out a project.
I don't know who
I
that
definitely
even
want to
was.
listen to that.
Okay, next is best childhood memory.
That's hard. I mean,
I'll go first on this one, so we kind of like would bounce back around. And
Yeah.
change it up. Best childhood memory, honestly, dude. All of our childhood was the shit, dude.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with high school, dude. We had the best freaking childhood ever.
I have I don't have a best childhood memory. I have a lot of good ones though.
One of my favorites is probably when I used to race four-wheelers, like back when probably the late elementary school was when I was racing four-wheelers. That shit was fun as shit.
I don't really have any best childhood memories for me. I mean, it's some spots here and there, but it's just my life's pretty boring. So, like, it's really boring.
You didn't have like a cool vacation or something that you went on?
I mean, it was, but it was a cool vacation. I had those from now and then, but I started growing up and was like, I kind of want to do stuff on my own now. Kind of don't want to do the whole family thing where it's like, all right, we go here, and then at this time we go here. You know what I'm talking about?
That's like
definitely now at this age you don't
Yeah.
be doing that shit. That shit's old.
That's one of the reasons. The one I was gonna say, I went on a cruise when I was in between 6th and 7th grade. So I was like feeling like that, like I don't want to do stuff with my family. There's nowhere where I can like go, so my parents let me just like do whatever I want on the ship. So I was like, and my like cousins and stuff went. So I was like doing stuff with my cousins without our parents the whole time, and it was sweet. So that's That's my favorite. We got kicked out of the casino because we were.
Oh, you know what? I do have a
12.
Dude, that's awesome.
I do have a childhood memory. Back in middle school, where I was slinging them snacks. You know,
I remember that.
slinging
Bro,
them
you
snacks.
were slinging snacks in like 9th grade too.
No.
Like them Pop-Tarts.
Okay, so here's the thing with that.
Pop-Tarts on deck
Sixth,
in 9th
seventh,
grade,
sixth,
bro.
seventh, and 8th grade was when it was popping, right? But then when I got to 9th grade, it was like, it was there. It was in 9th grade. It was, but then like 10th,
It's like
11th.
easier for people to get snacks on their own.
Yeah,
Vending machines and stuff.
yeah, but I be selling it for the low. But that was my best childhood memory.
What'd you have on deck?
I mean, I had it on deck.
Like, what'd you have?
Okay, first it was
Pop-Tarts.
like,
It was just Pop-Tarts.
it was Pop-Tarts around 9th grade, but like I used to sell like candy, Skittles and stuff like that, beef jerky. I had the little 3-pack with 9 packs of beef jerky in it.
Bro, I used to work at the Deca store,
Mhm.
and this dude one time came and spent $100 to buy candy, and then he just gave it out to everyone in the lunchroom.
What?
For free?
Yeah, you just walk around handing it out. They don't do that now this year. Miss, what's her face, closed it. She didn't want people standing in front of it because there's so many fights.
Yeah. Well, it's still gonna be fights there anyway.
They didn't even have like pep rallies because of fights. That's stupid.
Now, Christian, you want to talk about tattoos, or do you want to not talk about that anymore? Remember, I put that on the list because you want to talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about tattoos. Shit. I kind of like hand tattoos. Hand tattoos are cool.
Mhm.
If you get it like right. If you like, you don't want to just like. I highly recommend against getting what's it called, an impulse tattoo.
Yeah, yeah.
What's impulse?
Like you just feel like getting it and you go get it.
Yeah.
Oh,
without thinking about it.
So being like a like a
What's
crackhead for
what's
tattoos.
another good word for impulse? Like
addiction.
Like a spur of the moment. Like you just think about it and then you go do it. You just like think of it and go do it
Mhm.
instantly without thinking it through.
So crackhead for
Impulse
tattoos.
is a good word, I think.
But
you definitely want to like think about what you want to get.
yeah, something that's
for a
meaningful.
while, yeah.
Something that means something.
Unless you got like a whole sleeve and you just got like little spots to fill in.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing people do that whole like have a whole sleeve and then just make it black.
Haji.
Oh yeah, that's dumb. I don't like that.
I mean, it has.
Haji did that.
Yeah, he is. It's like a reason to it. It's like a reason behind all that.
Hurt
But,
so
um,
bad.
It's just basically they just. I don't know how they do it. I just think it's like a crayon and just, you know.
It probably hurts so bad to do that. They
Yeah.
can't do it all at once. You gotta get like sections.
Yeah.
Rings up your arm.
And then yeah, I'm thinking about getting tattoos too.
I'm thinking about it, but I know I'm not gonna like them afterwards.
No, cause I'm getting one that says like copyright 1999, and then it's like a picture of a tattoo. It's a picture I screenshotted. I might get on my leg.
I saw this Post Malone video where he was talking about getting tattoos.
Mhm.
He said if you get them on your palms, they fade away kind of quickly. So if I ever got
It's
one,
It's tattoo.
I'd get it on my
leg.
palm first. Oh yeah, you showed me that.
Yeah.
If I ever got one, I'd probably get it on my
Dude,
palm first to see if I
feel
like
getting
it.
it on your palm. It feels so weird.
No, yeah, I think it tickles probably.
I would not want to get that on my
But
palm.
when that fades away, then I'll have time to like look at it and see if I actually like it or not. Also, no one can
what
see
you
it if
can
you
just
don't
draw it in, or just like have a picture of it and look at it every day unless you get tired of it.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks more real though when it's actually on there. Like even temporary tattoos don't look the same as real.
All right, we can segue into something else.
Yeah, what else?
It's raining.
Oh yeah, comedians. Cause I've been watching stand up at work recently, and like the stuff that they talked about back then won't
Because
be.
everything's so PC now.
Yeah. So like watching Bernie Mac, Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah. Even like, I mean, like most stand-up comedians are famous.
Yeah. But it was like he was talking about like Bernie Mac was talking about like how he called his nephew like what is it, the F word? I don't want to say
The
it.
F word for gay people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It was funny though. It was funny.
F word with
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but
It's not that bad, bro.
yeah, but you know,
You
somebody.
watch it on Netflix?
No, YouTube. Or or Ari Spears was talking about stuff too.
I haven't watched it a lot lately, but I used to watch it on Netflix.
I used to listen. I had a Pandora back in the day. I used to listen to Pandora stand-up comedy all the time.
I was watching the Dave Chappelle and the Cat Williams,
Yeah,
the classics.
yeah. I used to
Yeah, but like that's how it is. Like comedians back then could talk about whatever they wanted, but now it's just like if you say anything, it's
They
like
can't even say like retard now.
yeah. Because I know people. There's a difference with that word. Like some people people call each other. Some people call somebody that because they're acting stupid. That's why they say it, and they're not. And people aren't meaning it as in like a.
No, yeah. Every term that's derogatory now was like the term that they made to say it because another term was derogatory before. So
Yeah.
that's the same thing that's gonna happen now when you say like you can't call people retarded. You have to say like mentally challenged.
Yeah.
Eventually, you saying mentally challenged is gonna be the same as retarded. You gotta say something else.
True.
Yeah, a lot of like words people say nowadays don't really mean what
Yeah.
the book dictionary definition. Like it's kind of like a slang nowadays.
Because now we have the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
Or like the way that people use words and like on TV and in media and stuff where you're like hearing it every day.
Mhm.
They will have like a certain context with it that's not necessarily actually what that word means.
Yeah.
And you can like in my philosophy class we talked about it, like the word discriminate. Like you can say that you're discriminating just like whenever you make a decision basically. But when you say it now, it's like a derogatory phrase. Like when you discriminate, you're like thinking bad about somebody or something when really you could just be like choosing based on like the good traits or whatever.
Yeah. Excuse me.
You're not excused.
No, I am excused. Thank you very much. We could talk about Bobby Shmurda. Gets out in 2020.
Who?
Bobby Shmurda.
I don't think I do.
You know Bobby. You don't know
I
Bobby.
can't say the name of the song. Trader Code song.
Oh, the song is you know the song where they like.
You can say it.
I don't want to say it.
It's not a cuss word.
I know it kind of is.
It's
Just
not.
say it, don't matter.
Hot nigga. Remember the video where he threw the hat up in the air and did the dance?
Or Bobby bitch.
I don't really know.
Bobby bitch with that body bitch.
You know I don't know karate.
I don't really.
You know who he is if you see his face. But he gets out in 2020, same year.
Oh, I think I did see something about that. Yeah.
Donald Trump gets out of office.
Maybe.
Wait, he get the re-elections in 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Kanye gets elected.
Dude, that'd be ridiculous.
That'd be stupid.
That would be dumb. Anyways, we are not a political podcast, but we can get political if we wanted to, which we're not.
We don't want to.
Because
Fuck that shit.
do y'all want to get political?
Fuck politics.
I don't even care about politics.
is dumb.
Yeah,
I don't think it's real.
I don't pay
Fuck the
attention.
government.
I don't pay attention to politics.
Yo, no. Fuck the government is my politics.
Hey, we have
Don't
to have.
tread on me.
I mean, you
The
can say that.
government is fucked up.
You can say that, but it's sometimes you gotta have some type of, you know.
You gotta have the government. It's just corrupt.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, okay, yeah, this is
Like
mine.
they-
Yeah, no. The
Fix your sentence. Fix your sentence before somebody thinks,
they
oh,
created freaking Democrats and Republicans to split us apart and distract us.
basically.
It's all they all controlled by the same thing.
And I just want to
I
say
think
one
people
thing.
separated themselves up based on like
How they,
the thoughts that they align with.
Yeah.
But with like the actual need for government, you don't need to do that. The
But-
point of a government is just to protect people in a certain area. So like they don't actually like people thinking about it too much like built up the government to be way more than it needs to be in like the entire world over history.
but I just want to say one thing real quick. You know how there's some people out there that are like against gay people and it's like, no, that's wrong. No.
Yeah.
Some of those people are, they try to hide the fact that they don't like gay people or nothing, but they be, messing with little boys and stuff behind closed doors.
No, yeah, but
You know what I'm talking about, Christian?
you're talking about Catholic priests?
Or just no. them or did you do that to mess with him?
No. Is he Catholic?
What?
What are you talking about?
Why would I say that to mess with him?
No, I don't know. He's
I was
just over
saying
here.
it to be funny.
No, you just lost me. You asked me. I didn't know what you were talking about.
What I'm talking about is like, you know how there's people out, you know how there's
People
like,
who act homophobic, but they like rape little boys.
there's
It's like a blank. It's like a mask.
it's like a mask.
It's their cover up to doing bad stuff is saying that they hate people who do that.
And
stuff.
they love Jesus and God.
So you seem like a hypocrite.
Yeah.
That's what they are. That's what it basically is, but they don't
Why are
want
you bringing that up though?
because we were talking about politics.
What's the next topic?
The next topic, let's get on this segue. Did you know I have a segue outside?
Oh.
Y'all want to hop on it real quick?
Nah, let's just talk about this.
Wait, what do you mean?
You're confusing Christian.
Next thing is we could talk about how females nowadays, females our age females our age be having kids, and how they don't act like parents and
So
stuff.
we're like basically around like 19. What you talking about?
No, yeah.
I like teen mom,
I don't know.
that type of stuff. If y'all
I
don't want,
definitely think like 19
don't
is a
actually
little too
know.
early
Huh?
unless you got if you got a lot of income coming in.
No, yeah. You gotta have money first.
Yeah.
I
You gotta have money
I
for
don't personally know anyone who has kids that is my age. Trayvon has a kid.
No,
but
I don't.
besides
I
that,
just think you should wait until you have a solid job.
At least you
I
got
know like one person who
income.
had a kid in high school.
yeah,
Obviously, I'm not gonna name drop them. but
keep that name
everyone-
anonymous.
Everyone from Peace knows who that is.
But we'll keep that name anonymous. But yeah, I seen a video on Twitter of a girl, or a female, and she has a kid, but like she's you know how females have the phone and posing and stuff, whatever. And the little
And they're
boy,
holding their kid in the picture.
no, she wasn't holding the kid. She was by herself, like just just talking or whatever. I think it was on live and somebody recorded it. And her son was in the back, just like he was just asking for like water or something, and she got pissed and she was like, Go to your room. I didn't tell you to get out your room till I was done, right, with this live. And he was like, I just want some water. And she like beat him. I was like, what is wrong? Like, why instead of he's just asking for water?
I got a video of me beating a child.
Just in video games.
No, punching him. I'm just joking.
Okay, you better be joking.
He's not a kid. He's like 20. He's like 15.
What's the age? 20 or 15?
I think he's like 17.
Okay, 17.
I wasn't 18 at this time.
Yeah, let's not play a video because they can't see it.
No, yeah, I'm just.
Let's not do
We talk about video games.
But anyway, yeah, people.
that. Video games?
Well, you wanna say?
People. To wrap that topic up,
Mhm.
people who have kids at a young age, obviously, it's usually not on purpose. If
Yeah.
it is, then they're probably the type of people who are responsible enough to have a
Well,
kid.
I mean, sometimes it kind of is on purpose because dudes don't want to wrap their Jimmy.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like they choose to have a kid. And
Oh, like
have
they
the
both
kid.
talk about it.
No,
and
yeah,
then-
they decide to have a
Yeah,
kid.
okay,
And they're
that's-
usually they like both have good jobs and
Mhm.
a place to stay, and they're like they are usually responsible enough to have a kid if they are smart enough to like
Responsible.
discuss it and think of it first. But if they have a kid, on accident,
Mhm.
which most people this age do, that sucks for the kid.
Yeah, because
In my
Yeah,
opinion.
definitely try to be smart with
Because
it.
those kids are always the ones that you could tell.
Yeah. So to wrap that up, just wear a Jimmy hat at all times. Don't be silly. Wrap your willy. Double.
As Asher Roth once said,
Whatever happened to him?
he loves college. I gotta go puke.
All right. Henry's going to take a pee at the moment.
Come on, Henry, he should be better prepared.
I mean, he is. But next on there, we talk about video games.
Shit,
'Cause I think we already
Fortnite-
talked about-
Fortnite's the shit, man.
We already talked about it like the first episode, didn't we?
Yeah, but
Yeah, we talked about it a
talk
little.
about it differently. Talk about different shit.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit,
I don't
but
even know what I talked about last time, but Fortnite's the shit. I used to play Rainbow Six a lot.
yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Call of Duty got old after Call of Duty Ghost. Like once the Ghost and Beyond was kind of getting old.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to Battlefield 5.
I don't know about that. We are.
They're gonna have a battle royale in Battlefield 5.
Yeah, but that's how all
And
online.
it's war too.
That's how all online games are nowadays. Is battle royale. Ever since Fortnite did it, everybody else want to do it.
I mean, it's something new.
It's something new, but if every game's gonna do it,
play it while it's new.
but
I mean,
if every
then they're gonna have something new come out in the future. Probably like virtual reality or something.
yeah, but we sort of talked about this in the first episode, but Henry wasn't here to talk about video games, so I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Fortnite because everybody talk about that, but let's talk about like how new games come out and then like the whatever game system it is has a sale for it. Like they have like different types of sales, like 60%.
Packages.
No, like just the game itself. So like a $40 game would be like maybe $10. Like it's like a 60%, 70% off discount for when a new game. Because when new games come in, old ones are gonna be like the prices are gonna drop down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I bought Madden for like $7. Well, Madden 18. Madden 18.
I thought you just said men.
No. What? No.
Dude, what?
That's what it sounded like you said.
Very true.
Madden.
Madden
Yeah, thank
18. That's what I said. What else? Yeah, the new games coming in. Spider-Man,
I want to get a
Cyberpunk.
Nintendo Switch. Those things are cool.
Yeah, I thought about getting one. I bought a DS though, because Henry was with me when I got that. I'm stuck on one part of Pokemon.
Which on what planet?
Yeah, I'm stuck on one part.
You earlier.
But yeah, I bought that. I still play my Nintendo 64. Still play my Game Boy. I still play my PS4. And some of y'all are thinking, wow, Traven has a lot of video games. That's because I have money, honey.
Humble
I'm
brag.
definitely team
Hashtag humble.
PlayStation.
Hmm?
I'm definitely team PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm Team PlayStation. What are you, Henry?
I don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox, but I like the way that Xbox controllers feel way better than PlayStation. I don't actually care either way though.
Get out. Get out.
No.
We only PlayStation around here.
I played PlayStation way more than Xbox probably.
Oh, okay then. Well,
I mean, I played all the
come back in
Xboxes.
then. You
I
can come
got
back
my
in.
PlayStation 1.
Hey, I think my dad still has one in here somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a PlayStation 1, but I played
Oh,
the
yeah.
PS2.
Bro,
There it is.
PlayStation-
It's under there.
That's the PS1.
Over the
Yeah.
beach.
PlayStation 1 controllers give you the worst blisters.
Facts. I had a
Flat
PS1, PS2, PS3. We still have both of them.
I used to play NASCAR 98.
Nice car 90, what?
98.
98, making them left turns.
There's
Make another left
There's road
turn.
courses.
Had what?
There's road courses.
Road courses.
Also, Crash Bandicoot Racing. played
Ah, I
racing
remember
games.
that. I beat the new one.
Oh, I bet.
What?
Just
What?
kidding. I don't play video games that much on it.
I do. I do. And I just, cause like I tell people, like I told my uncle one time, I was like, yeah, I beat this game. He was like, God dang, how long you had? I was like, how long you had? I was like, a week. And I just sit there and play it.
Yeah, just before I came here, I got, I think I already told you about the sauce situation where I got a 4 for 4 from Wendy's and they didn't give me the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
They also, I wanted orange cream soda and they said the drink machine was messed up. And asked for Dr. Pepper and they give me the cup with just ice in it and they hand me a can Dr. Pepper. Just in a can. I'm just like, okay.
I didn't even have those.
I don't know, like maybe like
They probably had to go buy
send
'em.
somebody to the store real quick so they can like give people drinks.
Where? I don't
Because
even
when I
know
worked at
where those
Bojangles
are.
before, if we didn't have any tenders, we sent somebody to another store to get it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Where's the closest Bojangles to that one? It's like
The one
sliding
in
down.
like near Atlee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like whatever that shit is, Mechanicsville.
Yeah, it's mechanical.
I had to drive there and want to get some chicken tenders, like a big box of like freaking spicy chicken tenders.
That's funny. Bro, I love budgeting ones.
Y'all want to wrap it up now?
Wrap it up. How long has it been?
It's 8:44. We stopped.
I don't know what time we started.
Then we started at like 8:04.
Alright. We can do that.
Yeah. Alright.
I appreciate y'all for listening and being patient.
This is the end of the podcast.
Get out of here. Close your SoundCloud.
Yeah, so this is the end of the podcast.
Stop listening right here.
Don't shut up, Henry. This is the end of the podcast. I'm Traven.
I'm Christian.
I'm Henry.
You can follow me on Instagram
No,
at.
he doesn't have Instagram.
I do have Instagram. I just haven't used it in a while.
Don't.
I had my Instagram is.
Follow him on Snapchat
Shut up.
at T_Raven.
All right, here.
R-A-V-I-N.
All right, I'm gonna go down the list real quick. My Instagram is at @T_Raven, T_Raven. My Instagram is that. My Twitter is T_Raven_. My Snapchat is T_Raven.
My Instagram is
You're
Henry.
not doing this.
It's Henry.
Go ahead, finish.
I did.
That's not true. That's not true.
It's Henry Pugh.
Dude, if they're listening to this, they already know our shit.
I mean,
I don't
we
care.
never
I
know.
told him to stop listening. They're not listening to this part.
Well, you never know. Somebody's gonna listen to that.
It's Henry Pugh.
You don't
It's
want
my
to put in
name.
your. All right. We have a Patreon.
We don't.
We have a Patreon. Yes, we do have a Patreon. You can donate us money if you want to, if you like to. There's different tiers to it. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the podcast.